Welcome to the Movies and Stuff show, everybody. I am Abe. We've had some interesting issues tonight, so no intro, no name tags. We're just going to jump into The Killing Joke. Joining me, Abe, this one right here, is Jamill. Right there.
Okay. Hey, yes, this is Jamill. How are you, everyone?
Thanks for joining us. That is Amanda. Hey, Amanda. And that is the bane of my existence, Mr. Jack Random. Bane, yeah. It's funny you bring up Bane. We are talking DC today. We're talking about The Killing Joke. It's a very controversial little movie that came out just recently. Typically, we go around and ask, your experience and everything. I don't care about your experience. We are going to just jump into it. I want to know what your initial thoughts about this are. Mr. Jack Random, what are your initial thoughts about The Killing Joke?
It is a half an hour too long. And if you cut that first half hour out of the beginning, you have a wonderful animated movie.
Nice. Which half an hour? The first one?
The first half hour.
Okay,
cut it out.
Sure.
Cut it out entirely.
I gotcha. Amanda, initial thoughts?
I feel like it was this sort of meta thing where, like, watching it was this experience of being tortured by DC, and so I can relate to the Batman and Commissioner Gordon, and I've had my own personal one worse day, and I'm a step closer to insanity, which is the most positive spin that I can give the experience.
Nice. Jamill, are you good? Are you at the abyss staring into it?
Cut the first 30 minutes. The Killing Joke is great. It reads better than this actual movie does. Plays. It reads better than the movie plays.
Well, how do you think about the movie, not the comic? How do you think about them? What do you think of The Killing
Joke?
Joke?
That's what I'm saying. The actual cartoon is all right. It's just all right. Could have been better. It's a little flat. It plays a little flat, in my opinion.
Yeah, that was my take too. I thought this was a very, very flat movie in both terms of storytelling, animation. I thought even the storyboarding was completely uninspired here. So I'm with you all. Yeah, I thought this was not a very good try. Not a very good try at all. Although I know that this is an unpopular opinion, I'm just going to say it right now. I actually thought the initial first half had some potential of being interesting, much more than that second half. Go ahead, Jack. I feel like you have something to say.
That first 30 minutes, it disrespected Batman, it disrespected Batgirl, and disrespected a decent comic book story. The original Killing Joke comic wasn't about Batgirl, not at all. This was she's very incidental. The whole thing with Batman going crazy and going after the Joker wasn't because, not in the comic, it wasn't because, Batgirl got crippled. It was because he likes beating up the Joker. He was after the Joker before the incident that takes place where he shoots Batgirl. Anyway, the first part, that was terrible, Abe. I mean, the dialogue was stupid.
Oh, oh my God, Ghostbusters.
The whole telling Batgirl, well, you haven't looked into the abyss. Who wrote this shit? That was you know what? When people say comic booky dialogue, that's the fuck what they're talking about, and it makes the genre I love look terrible.
Yeah, the dialogue was a little flat, and it certainly didn't match the second half. But I mean, I've always wondered what were the circumstances of what they talked about in Batman Beyond, which was a cartoon I really enjoyed.
Yes.
Yeah.
How Barbara and Bruce hooked up.
It wasn't like that. Come on.
I didn't like that.
Well, now that was the first step.
Yeah, but that's a possible future. Any future tale is a possible future, so it's not canon.
Right.
So it's a possible future, and it's being told in retrospect. It's way different watching it happen live.
Oh, that's true. I can't argue with you there.
And we don't know when exactly it happened throughout their relationship. At what age or how long they'd worked together in the Batman Beyond. We don't know when that happened. Right. And this, they'd been. She was Batgirl for 3 years. And she says that clearly. I was Batgirl for like 3 years, and this dumb shit happened to me. The way she's acting throughout that first half of the movie, that's not Barbara Gordon. That's not a capable crime fighter. That's no one Batman will be hanging with. That was an adolescent girl trying to get over her first crush.
I got you.
She was stupid, and she was stupid, and she was naive, and then she was stupid. It was.
Jamill, go ahead. You've got stuff to say.
This is the problem with that first half. It does none of those character service. I mean, okay, Robin don't exist in this, but like I feel like Batman, whose whole thing is that he has. Kyle said this, that he has strength of character. To not have the strength of character to bang your best friend's daughter on a roof, and she's all of 20 years old.
If that.
And if Robins exists, that's like your adopted son's girlfriend. So like it doesn't make Batman look good. It doesn't make her look good. It makes her look incompetent and more of a thrill seeker than a crime fighter.
What? Okay. What is she? I mean, I want to know from you guys. You guys are more comic book nerds than I am by a long stretch. She's a librarian, right? That decides to fight crime.
More or less.
Okay. For morality, for thrills, what is it? What makes Batgirl Batgirl? What?
I think it's in her DNA. Her dad's a cop. Her dad is the quintessential cop, and she likes to do the right thing.
And
I want to hear Amanda too. I want to hear what she.
I'm sorry, Amanda.
Oh, I was going to say the only thing I know about her is that unlike the Robins, she sought it out. So like she's like the one who was like, I want to fight crime. Whereas the boys were all wards that Batman went and found and said, hey. So I'm not that familiar with Batgirl, but I do know that in almost every version, she's actively pursuing the role. And it's more like she was going to do it with or without Batman.
As I recall, in canon, she adopted the identity on her own. She wasn't, and that was another thing. Batman was like talking in the movie. He was saying like, "I'll fire you," or she wasn't working for it to begin with. That was something she made her own Bat costume. She got her own accessories. That she just ran out there and did it on her own. The whole thing just really bothers me, Abe. I'm sorry.
Well,
man, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest with you. Batgirl, prior to her getting shot and becoming Oracle. She wasn't much of a character. She wasn't a good character, nor was she used. Like, I understand what people say about this comic and how like it sidelines her, but you gotta understand this wasn't like a strong female character to begin with that they crippled. She was retired and they hadn't used her in years. And to be fair, like 6 months later, he killed Robin. So like the Joker was on the roll. He was killing Batman sidekicks left and right. He was fucking them up left and right. It just wasn't a woman thing. He did the Robin. It's a thing with him. He likes to.
Well, it's interesting you say that was the original context because like right now, Batgirl is actually very popular with like little girls, and so it's a little bit interesting that they made the decision to do this one now, and that they didn't change it, or that they nominally gave her a bigger role and made that bigger. What was the exact words? It was something about like wanting to like broaden her role, and I kept thinking like by spreading her legs, like what the hell?
And like and being stupid, like it does her no good. And like I said, since she is pretty much the main character in the first half and she narrates it, when she gets taken out completely out the story and it is about the man, that makes it even worse. That makes it 100 times worse than if you would just told a straight 45-minute story.
Absolutely, I agree with that. This is incredibly disjointed. I mean, it starts one way, then goes the other way, and there's no connective tissue between these two stories, really, at all.
You can even see in the transition scene from the first part to the second part where she's running, and the shot of her running is actually starts from her midsection, and I was like, this is the moment where she switches from being a character to being like an object in the movie. Because I saw that, I actually wrote that down. I was like, okay, so like every other character in this is a prostitute or something, and then suddenly she goes from being a character to we get like this really cheesy like her abs while she's running and she's panting, and I'm like, wait, really? It was, and then she like didn't have any dialogue for the rest of the it was very, yeah,
very abrupt. And something you said, Amanda, and it just occurred to me how Batgirl is a very popular character with younger girls now, with teen girls, and they just had the big kerfluffle over the Joker cover where they put it on the issue of Batgirl, and it's the Killing Joke homage, and the world collectively lost their shit. So why would you emphasize or even make her a bigger victim in this movie? Because it can be said she was victimized by Batman too.
Yeah.
So, DC editorial, the powers that be at Warner, I believe they are the most tone deaf human beings not working a Trump campaign. I swear to God. I don't understand how I don't understand the thought process. It just seems like a very strange thing to do, to really promote this movie, and after the kerfluffle over that Killing Joke, make her again a bigger victim. Explain that, Abe.
Oh, I can't explain it. I can't explain it. I actually, what I found interesting about the first half is I felt like this was actually could potentially be a mature look at relationships inside of a comic book in the Batman universe, which I've never seen before.
Hey, it's comic books. This is not deconstruction.
Like, does Batman even have sex? Like, Bruce Wayne does. Bruce Wayne fucks, but like Batman, like that doesn't even make sense.
And I think is maybe just confined to the New 52 stuff, but I think he had something with Catwoman. I believe it was kind of the same thing, rooftop range sex. You know, that's kind of how Bats gets down, I think. I don't know.
All right, so somebody at DC has like a really specific fetish?
I believe so. There's a weird Nightwing story from about 10 years ago where Nightwing is raped on a rainy rooftop. So that's kind of a Bat thing, I believe.
Could be. Well, okay. Let's get into the.
I'm gonna write that down for.
Yeah. Let's get into the second half just a little bit now, because I've heard for years this is the most fucked up. This is the darkest Batman story ever, and I really felt let down by this film. I feel like this had no emotional punch whatsoever. I feel like the part of it is probably the animation was so flat, so boring, so uninspired. It's not a deep comic book.
Well,
I guess I was expecting too much from this then.
It's really just not a deep comic. I like the comic. It's one of my favorite comics, and part of the reason it's one of my favorites is also part of the reason I wasn't looking forward to seeing this animated, is because of the artwork. Brian Boland, who's a British artist, I first became familiar with him with his Judge Dredd stuff. He's the cleanest, sharpest, bold lines. I mean, his art is amazing. He doesn't use speed lines to convey motion. He's just that good. But the story is just a basic Batman story. It's even less than a basic Batman story. And the real hook of it is this is our first time we get a semi-definitive Joker origin. Because, we've heard for years how he was the Red Hood, got knocked into chemicals, and blah, I was the Joker. But now we see it in depth. And that was the big hook about the Killing Joke, not the actual shooting of Barbara, the chasing down the Joker and beating up the Joker. It was, we got a Joker origin.
And honestly, it's one of the first like really fucked up things post-crisis Joker does. This kicks off the Joker, the Joker we know and love now. That's really violent, really fucked up. This is that Joker. This is like his first salvo into that type of thing. This is almost 30 years ago. So we've been working with this Killing Joke Joker for 30 years. Before that, it wasn't as bad. I mean, he was still a lunatic, but this is like the first where he just does something so deplorable.
For what seems like a really silly reason. Just real arbitrary. Let me just go ruin the commissioner's life. for no reason. Because Jamil has a good point. Like up until that point, up until the Killing Joke, or even up until the Dark Knight Returns, the Joker, they said he was a mass murderer, but really he was just like a bank robber with gimmicks. And suddenly, they turned him into the most dastardly serial killer ever. Again, go ahead, Abe. I'm sorry.
I'm just curious about the historical context. He was just a bank robber until this moment. This is what changed him.
No, it's pretty much Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns. And, in Batman's monologuing, he talks about the millions, about the hundreds and thousands that the Joker has killed, which is something we never really got into that in the comics before then. And also Frank Miller introduced the unhinged Batman that we've grown to know and love. So all this stuff, all this modern Batman stuff really stems from the Dark Knight Returns. Because Batman was kind of a silly book before that.
Okay.
Go ahead. No, I was gonna say Miller, like he showed us like the gritty undertone that was always there, and the readers never picked up on it. If that makes any sense.
Oh, it does to me.
Okay.
Yeah, Amanda, I know you were talking artwork before too.
Oh yeah, I was mostly complaining that I had wanted to find a copy that had like Higgins' original coloring, because I think that's prettier than the recolor. So I was disappointed because I was like, I'm not paying $80 for like a first edition Killing Joke so that I can have read it again before I talk about it with some assholes on the internet. So. Sorry, you guys aren't worth $80 to me yet.
Oh, no, it's fine. She's talking about you two, by the way, just so you know.
Wow. I wouldn't pay $4 for the Killing Joke. Well, I might. I've done it once, but
I mean, I didn't pay to watch it, but
we do not endorse piracy around here.
Hey, I just did a Google search to see where I could watch it online, and the first link I clicked on just started playing it. I didn't even have to hit any buttons. So
yeah, wow, that's pretty cool, actually.
We live in the future.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I had been interested in reading it with the original coloring, and that was kind of hard to find. From the samples I could see, the line work looked much better in the recolored version, but I thought that the layouts overall looked much better with the original coloring. That was kind of a little bit more abstract.
Very interesting. I liked how they did for the flashback stuff. They did the sepia tones, but
yeah, that's like that.
Yeah.
I saw that and I was like, yeah, that's totally like that's straight from comic book. That's perfect.
Exactly. And, I never thought much about the coloring in the original comic. After I saw the cartoon, I started going back. I can't find my copy of The Killing Joke, so I started looking at scans online. There's a bunch of, like, the original pencils and the black and white, just the pen and ink.
Yeah.
Man, that's some amazing artwork. So I never even thought about checking it out in color because I've been looking at these black and white scans and just, tripping off of Boland's artwork. He's so good.
The colors can do if you're looking at a full page at a time, the colors can do a lot to help or hurt. So if you're looking online, it almost like if you're looking at a computer, it almost doesn't make a difference. But
probably not. Huh.
And like I said, you're not gonna find like the full thing in the original colors anymore, probably.
That's interesting. How well
this is before computer colors too. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. I was just going to ask, how well do you think the movie matched artistically matched the book?
It's almost a panel for panel shot.
Which is why it's interesting that you said you didn't think it was storyboarded well.
I didn't think it was storyboarded very well. I didn't think it conveyed information very well at all.
Maybe it works better as a storyboard. Maybe it works better as sequential artwork.
I was going to say you need to see multiple panels at the same time in order to have the information come through.
That could be.
The same way. That's why comic books are like magically efficient for telling stories.
And then again, it is Alan Moore. And Alan Moore, he's famous for saying he writes comics to look like comics. So he wasn't thinking an eventual adaptation. Same thing with the Watchmen and stuff. That's why reason I didn't like Watchmen, because I think it works better as a book. It works better in prose and as sequential artwork. You know what would have worked a lot better instead of the Batgirl prologue? I think if they had done a short adventure where Commissioner Gordon gets to yell at Batman about being too brutal and not going by the book, because Commissioner really stresses that at the end of this movie. Like, they'd had that conversation before, so they should have showed us that conversation before.
Oh, I agree. That would flow together very well. That's connective tissue. I guess I know that there's some ambiguity in the book about whether or not Batman kills Joker at the end. I really felt like this film was stacking the deck to make you think absolutely Batman kills the Joker. I felt like that was the only reason that the Batgirl prelude was in this story.
I was waiting to hear a snap. To be honest, I was waiting for that the neck snapping sound.
Sorry,
effect.
neck snapping isn't funny, but this conversation
Sure it is.
What am I?
No,
Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
No. It looks like that. I was literally waiting for that sound effect, because Moore has said he never intended for it. Just kind of looks like that. Moore said he never intended for Joker to kill Batman. I'm sorry, Batman to strangle the Joker at the end.
Yeah.
But he said it wasn't a bad idea, but that wasn't his intention. But it ends exactly the same way it does in the comics. The Joker's laughter stops, and Batman, you can still read the ha-ha-ha's for the next couple of panels, and that's pretty much how they did it on the cartoon. So if we're just going to call this Elseworlds...
I personally think it felt a little flat. It does play exactly like the comic. It's just missing that one part. It's...
Uh-oh.
He's there. He's thinking.
No, just... Skype's acting up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh.
I can see motion. I thought he was just searching for the right phrase.
Don't.
No,
Also,
Skype was acting up.
It's okay.
I need to not have my cat sitting on the computer while I'm talking to you guys. This is a
Well, that's
disaster.
just kind of how the night is gone. Let the cat
Yeah.
hang out,
I think the ending is almost the same. It's just missing that one panel like it is in the comic where it really looks like Batman is strangling him. That's the one panel that they don't have in the movie, and I think that would have helped for the ambiguity. Like, just for me, it plays just a little more flatter than I imagined in my head.
The Joker's song sounded better in my head too before they actually sang it in the movie. Because those lyrics are right there, and musical notes are right there in the comic, and I just sing it in my head. But Mark Hamill just doesn't have that singing voice, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, Abe, what would you have done? Would you have? What you
the
said
problem
really
is
reminded me of what
ahead.
Kyle said. Kyle said pretty much he would have liked to have seen a separate series based off of the first half of the movie. That he said that came off, and that's just another thing that shows you how tonally different it was. It's almost like a completely different movie.
Not like almost. It is a completely different movie. Yeah. There's no reason for these two to be together at all. All that the Prelude did, I thought the Prelude was interesting. Granted, I can see you guys don't, and that's fine. But all it did was make it feel like the Killing Joke was just, let's get through this as fast as we can. Done. It never breathed. The Killing Joke never breathed. You never even got a sense that Jim Gordon was having anything other than it was fucked up. But it wasn't that fucked up. Anybody that's been to Camp Crystal Lakes had a way worse experience. Let it breathe. Really let the torture for Gordon sink in. Make it hurt more. Don't just shoot him through. And this movie, for being rated R, you know what? I'm going to do something they couldn't do. Fuck.
Yep.
Fuck.
Yep.
Fuck this rate. I'm freaking the F out. A henchman actually said freaking the F out. It was
They probably made it. They probably added the R rating as an afterthought, as a selling point, because there's really nothing. We've seen Batgirl in her bra on the fucking cartoon.
And what was with that full coverage JCPenney thing? Like, she doesn't have a tactical bat bra? Like, if someone's been fetishizing having rooftop sex with Batgirl for years, that's the best they could draw for me?
That's a good point. That is a damn good point.
And this wasn't stylized Bruce Timm artwork, so you could draw me some good boobies. Sorry.
No. You're absolutely right.
If I'm going to have gratuitous women in my things, I want them drawn well.
I can't argue with that. Yeah, I think that's a good point.
I think, just like Watchmen, I think it would have been better if they would have took a more artistic license with it. Like, no, basically keep the same story, but add their own flourishes. Because I can't believe I'm saying this. I agree with Abe. They're just trying to get through it as fast as they can. Like the Jim Gordon scene when he's surrounded by pictures of his like naked daughter. It doesn't play as well as it should because they're just trying to get through it. They are just trying to get to the end.
You're absolutely right. It doesn't play at all. At all.
I think this. You know what? My problem. Even thinking that the first half of this movie is like a completely separate movie. It wasn't a very good movie. I mean, I didn't find Batgirl sympathetic. I did that whole rant she goes on when she's at work in the library to her coworker about the guy, the yoga instructor, and
that was a little cringy. I'm gonna say, just like the most stereotypical.
Terrible.
Right?
Oh God, it was terrible.
He should have been on CBS.
And that was and Bab's seduction of Batman. That was the worst seduction ever.
You know what? I thought, okay, I hate saying how I'd fix a movie at all, but a kiss carries just as much weight in this context as sex. If she just planted one on Batman, or if he planted one on her, it really amplifies a mistake. Just a kind of they could possibly get by, maybe not. Sex is a whole other ballgame. It's not just sex like Batgirl says. It carries a lot more weight, but a kiss could be just as damaging.
That's true.
Oh my God, that scene with her on like the water tower just ranting to him. I'm just like, it's so terrible. Like, who thought that would make her stronger? Her like saying, "I don't care. Do you care? Because I don't." It just says, "I don't see why you." I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, that doesn't make her a better character. Who the fuck thought this made her a better character?
And what was really stupid was, prior to the whole seduction, well, what kind of instigates the seduction is, Batgirl losing her temper and attacking Batman. And
I'm sorry,
Batman
I thought what instigated the whole thing was he brought her a pumpkin spice latte.
God damn it, you're absolutely right.
I mean,
Absolutely right.
Man brings me a pumpkin spice latte on a rooftop after I've been knocked out in a fight. Yeah.
But she knocks Batman, an enraged, not thinking Batgirl is able to overpower and knock down a rational, cold, calculating Batman, but had been getting her ass kicked by henchmen up until that point. The whole first half was extremely stupid. Just stupid.
But did you like the little like attempt to placate the more socially justice minded, I guess I'll say, by saying when he says he's objectifying you? I mean, I was like, oh yeah. I love that. That was a little code word, either as a middle finger to people or to try and placate them. I'm not sure which.
Oh, historically and going by what I know, and it's a middle finger, Abe.
Is it a middle finger? Okay.
It's a middle finger.
I thought that was, I was like, wow.
I think
they're not really good at subtlety.
Well, and then on the flip side, a few minutes later, they show, meathead boyfriend being mean to his girlfriend. I was not sure where they were coming from, to be honest.
This was a ill-conceived project. I never thought The Killing Joke required animating. It's only maybe 45 pages. It's about as long as an annual. It's much ado about nothing. And I don't know why Bruce Timm and who's the other writer? Jamill. Was it Brian Azzarello?
Brian Azzarello.
Yeah, I mean, it was like he was trying to do some of his Norrish, gangstery, 100 bullets type stuff. And this wasn't even that.
Which is nuts because, like, he actually do write good female characters. If you ever read his Wonder Woman, she's great. I don't know what the hell he was going for in this. look, the best thing about the Killing Joke comic cartoon is like it gave us the best part of the Dark Knight movie. Well, one of the best parts of the Dark Knight movie.
Which part?
Which part?
Pretty much the whole thing with Harvey Dent is pretty much just to kill. Huh? Can you guys
Go
hear
ahead.
me?
Yeah, no,
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh,
We're just
okay.
listening for once.
Okay, I said. No, you guys keep pausing on my end, but no, the everything with Harvey Dent in the Dark Knight
Oh,
is
okay.
pretty much just a Killing Joke. Just like, hey, I give Harvey Dent a really bad day.
Mm-hmm.
And and in fact, in that, he actually does succeed. But like that's inspired by the Killing Joke. They took that from that.
That's what I'm talking about, though. Nolan had more of an edge than this Killing Joke story. You felt bad for Harvey Dent and all the crap he went through.
That is true.
Nolan had more of an edge in a PG-13 movie than this R-rated attempt.
I would argue the Dark Knight is not really PG-13. It was made by a Hollywood studio that can buy off the ratings board. But yeah.
Well, Abe, Jamill, Amanda, I have to go, so I don't want to make this transition awkward, but there's got to be a way I can walk out of here without making everything look goofy.
Go ahead and hang up. We're just going to try this. We'll just time it down. 3, 2, count it down for me.
3, 2, 1. I'll see you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Let's see if he drops off. Oh, I got their names mixed up. Well, this has just been that kind of night. There we go. And we get to memorialize Jack up on the screen, so we get to remember him.
So now's the part where we talk about him while he's not here, right? And he'll never know.
He'll never know. This isn't called Jack Randoms, so he's not going to watch.
That guy is a slave driver. Let me tell you. Oh, you have no idea the stuff he make us do for his show. Oh God, help SOS. No, I'm just joking.
Well, we've been talking for a little while. Should we? I don't know if there's not a whole lot left to discuss. I don't think. I mean, if you guys want to have any final thoughts about it or any opinions you didn't get out, this is the time.
Abe, I will say to go back to what you said about Hamill phoning it in. I don't think it's so much Hamill phoning it in. I just think it's the dialogue.
Did I say that on the show or did I say that in the pregame? Because
you might have said that in the pregame.
Okay,
sorry.
I'll say it now. Mark Hamill phoned his performance in. He was in it for a paycheck.
You see, I don't think so. I think it has to do more with what he was saying. Again, I think it reads better than like it actually sounds. I really think that's more of what it is. It doesn't work well as dialogue coming out of a person's mouth in animation
really
or live action form.
No, I'm with you. I think we might have a guest call here in a second too. But yeah, Amanda.
So is this what we have to suffer through to get more Young Justice?
Oh.
That's my final thought is
You will never get Young Justice.
Yeah, I'm afraid, yeah.
I know. And that's what I'm realizing is that like the conditions that were necessary for us to get a good DC animated universe are kind of, they're not really there right now.
We're going to add a caller to this. Hey, there we go. Caller, you are on the show.
Hey, look at that.
Hey, Dan, what's up?
Hey, everyone. See, we eventually made it work.
There we go.
Just like, well over an hour and a half later. I appreciate Jack jumping in for me. I watched the show. You guys did very good. I wasn't even missed.
Oh,
See, I'm not even needed.
Anytime I can piss off Jack is a good day for me.
I'm not needed on my own show.
Well, caller, what did you think of the Killing Joke 2016?
All right. I think I probably liked it more than any of you guys did, but it's not really saying much because there was no impact for me. Like I remember like reading the comic book years and years and years ago, and I liked it. And if I probably revisited even the comic now, I don't think I would like it as much as I'm like fondly remembering it, because watching the movie is like, yeah, there's really, I don't know, there's not a lot going on here, not a lot of interesting stuff. That the first half was just pointless, and I think one of my main issues with it was what they were trying to do is build up this Batgirl character and make you, so upset when she finally gets shot and paralyzed. And they did the complete opposite. They devalued this character and just made you not care. And to the fact where it's like, oh yeah, she's shot. Well, at least she's not running around crying about sleeping with Batman anymore. So there's that. And then
You're horrible.
and then the whole like torturing of Commissioner Gordon, and he goes through all that stuff, and then it's like yeah, we get it. All right, buy the book, Batman. You see, you can't break Gordon, but it's like it came off so cheesy to me. Like I would have rather maybe even Gordon kind of second. And again, I guess this is more attacking the comic book, because it's not like the movie could have taken that many liberties with it. But a little bit more like maybe Gordon is impacted by it, and he has a slight hesitation of, like tells Batman's like, go kill him or something. And then like, no, we can't do that. I don't know. I know that Moore has come out and like turned his back on the book, and I don't know if you guys have heard the story.
That doesn't mean anything. Alan Moore hates everything.
Well,
exactly. Thank you, Amanda. I hate when people say that about this damn story. Like, well, Alan Moore don't like it, that means you shouldn't like it either. Like, no, who the fuck cares what he thinks at this point?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Did you guys hear the story though, where he mentioned that he wanted to paralyze Batgirl, and the execs at DC is like, yeah, shoot the bitch. That's what their exact words to him were, apparently. And
sounds like a place I want to work.
It's just like he took a step back. He's like, "Oh, I actually didn't think that we would be able to do this." So he was kind of stuck at that point, I don't know. Overall, like I enjoyed Mark Hamill's performance in it. I like Mark Hamill as the Joker. I thought the song was funny. I know Jack was reading the notes in the comic book and sang in a different tune, but I thought it was good. One of the things that impacted the ending, the power of the ending, is we pretty much already saw that scene earlier when Batman goes to Arkham, and he's talking to the fake Joker, and he's like, one of us is going to kill each other one day, and we really shouldn't. We should work things out. So we had already seen that exact dialogue that he gives to the Joker at the very end. So to me, it's just like, and what's the point of seeing this?
I agree with you on that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, those are my thoughts. But I thought you guys did quite well. Like honestly, I managed to once I finally got my daughter to bed.
There we go.
Jeez, yeah. I had her. I'm gonna give you the play-by-play real quick, audience. Is I had my daughter like pretty much asleep, and I texted Abe 10 more minutes, and I completely fucking jinxed myself at that point, because then she woke up and she's like, "Hi, Daddy." I'm like, God damn it. And then I just threw in the towel. I was like, do the show without me.
Oh, man. Yeah. Well, I think we muddled through a couple snafus here and there. I think I said Ghostbusters at one point because I had to reset XSplit, but
hey, not bad. No, it turned out well. And again, I appreciate Amanda, Jamill. Sorry to make you guys wait, and Jack. I appreciate him jumping on last minute. And hey, yeah, we got through a show.
Yes, we did. Oh man. So yeah, I guess we're just going to kind of wrap it up here. Amanda was going through some of her final thoughts.
My final thought was just like, what do we have to do to get the DC animated universe to be good?
Right, the Young Justice. Well, okay, that's an interesting question. Were the DC animated movies good beforehand? I thought Under the Red Hood was really well done. I thought that had a much more emotional punch than this. Do you guys agree, disagree?
No, I agree. I think in general, the DC animated movies are good for the most part. There's a slight hiccup here and there, but I think overall the DC animation is building a goddamn shitty movies. That's for damn sure.
Oh, terrible.
Amanda, were you a fan at all of the DC animated movies before this, or no?
I've only seen a few of the movies, but the cartoon series, like I'm sorry, but is it Kevin Conroy?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's my Batman. Like, I don't care what he looks like in real life. I don't know why he's not Batman in all of the movies. So, yeah. Sorry.
No, that's totally cool. That's totally cool.
And it's funny because his voice acting in this was like super lazy. Like he was just like,
Oh, he was.
He was so flat in this.
like
Yeah.
we didn't even get to hear him make sex noises when he had sex with Batgirl. Like, come on.
Yes.
That was going to be my new ringtone.
Oh. Maybe that'll be the unrated edition, the half an hour longer version.
Yeah, the only performance that was worse than Conroy's was Batgirl's. I mean, honestly,
She didn't have anything to do.
it was terrible.
Like,
Like her,
Like what?
her one
Like what?
line
Does she
waking up
want-
from being paralyzed was better than the whole first part.
but I
that
mean,
she
like,
was-
does she want them to call her back to do another movie like that? No.
I don't think. I honestly, it's getting hate from every side. I don't think we're going to see another movie like this. I don't know what they're going to do with Bruce Timm now.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I think, and we'll talk about it next week. The reaction that Suicide Squad's getting. I don't know if they can even green light anything DC outside of what's already been approved.
All right, so my last thought is to remind you guys that as an outhouser, we maintain a website. Jude maintains a website called Has DC Done Something Stupid
It ain't
Today?
stupid. I love that shit. I love that. I got that bookmarked. I have that bookmarked.
So I hope to remind you to check that out.
We'll definitely put a link.
over-
We'll put a link in the description.
Yeah, over the next weekend, the counter might be reset. Although
It
we
was
usually,
just reset it. It was just reset not too long ago.
Oh my god!
but that
That's
was
really fun.
for the sexual harassment stuff, not just because they made something that sucked. They do that all the time too.
Oh, boy. Dan, were you a big fan of the animated movies at all?
I mean, I thought they were all kind of hit or miss. I did like some, but overall, like it's not something like this is the first one that I was excited to see, and it got so hyped up, and it didn't work for me. I don't think if they put out another one, I'd rush to go see it like this one. But I will rush out to go see Suicide Squad.
Which we are going to talk about Tuesday.
That's right.
Yep. All right. So yeah, I guess I'm going to wrap this up too. I want to thank anybody and everybody who actually watches tonight, and who will watch this down the road.
Some people stuck through it, and I appreciate that.
Absolutely. And for those of you who just stumble upon this through YouTube, you missed quite
Watch our other stuff.
So sorry.
yeah, you missed quite an evening. As we have vegetable lasagna with Tom and Chris on Monday, where they talk about life, movies, and vegetables and lasagna. I don't know. We have Dan and I on Tuesday. We'll be talking Suicide Squad.
9 p.m. I promise.
9 p.m. He promises. And then that week also, we're going to have a debate show. We don't know who's going to be on it yet, but it'll be fun. So thank you so much, everybody. If you could, please like, comment, subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. We'll try and do better next time. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
Night. Bye.
Right.